in. We have the stream activated for the first game of the night. High Alert versus Forge Whale Riders. As we see, both teams got to the early game, no kills or deaths yet, and each champion's about at level 3. We see that we have John, who's the mid laner now for Forge Whale Riders, getting some of that trading done. It's the classic, is my mana pool big enough to chunk out your health pool against the Akali, and Redwater doing great trading on his end. John is out of mana, has the health advantage, but Redwater gets a level up, and we have just the tank matchup between the Madman and Oso. Not a lot, ideally, going to go on there, as we see also a pretty tame bottom lane. It's going to be a lot about the jungle mid matchup, I think, in this early game.
I agree. It is worth noting that we had to burn TP on Orianna. Not that she should have, but not taking biscuits means that when she's out of mana, she's pretty cheap in this lane. So she's had to take this early back, but I think it's actually so early that this TP won't really matter, and she's probably just going to trade it with Akali's here. Akali does get through those first 3 levels, which is really important. Being able to make it through without getting jungle ganked, and also not getting put into a place where she has no flash by the Orianna is going to mean she's going to be farming a little bit safer than you would normally think of this Orianna lane. And that's just excellent play by Breadwater, knowing the strengths and weaknesses of his champions and really what the limitations of Orianna's mana pool are, especially in this early game. Orianna picking up that tier to kind of supplement that damage, but it looks like we got some forward positioning in the bot lane coming out from Atomic Waldo.
Yeah, it looks like he wants something. I'd like to see him on this, the Alistar. I think one of the most well-known champions he's on is actually, we see the stream actually cut out there, so hopefully we can get that back up soon. But talking about Atomic Waldo's champion pool, we've seen him a lot on these Enchanter champions over the past couple of weeks. But from what I garner from his solo queue accounts, he's a lot more of that aggressive, play aggressive support. So seeing him on the playmaker like an Alistar, even if it's not exactly the best comp for it, right? He doesn't have a super strong dive comp. Ornn and Trundle aren't super high damage, kind of blow up your opposing team champions. It'll still be good to see him on a champion with those proactive playmaking tools.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, I mean, honestly, Atomic Waldo is weird, but I know Atomic Waldo is this league. I just think that Ike and Alistar, these similar characters that kind of work going well. Ooh, nice flash.
Kind of call the Forge God. He has a really beating on him, and the Madman wants to try to shepherd it. I think they're going to walk off each other within 6 very soon, but a nice look from the Madman.
And also Dawn Splash coming out there too, and the quick mid lane pan we had there, that being really important for jungle pressure. It's harder to freeze mid lanes than supports, but if we can find an advantage wave state forward, that's going to be pretty freaky for the Diego coming up there.
Yeah, it looks like actually Breadwater burned his flash to use that too, so both flashes burned. I think Breadwater hit that level 6 power spike and used the perfect execution up. So All out goes in, and Lessworth picks up the kill with the Spectral Ball. An easy setup for his jungler as Oso sets up the kill. The Madman goes down, does not burn flash. He didn't have the ulti to disengage, so a nice first blood from them as we see some scraps in the ball lane. Yeah, getting aggressive. I think they're just going to trade health and walk away. Taich goes for the hook, but it did. Wow, that is the fat hitbox doesn't actually hit, but I think they're just going to trade health and walk away.
That is the most generous not hitbox I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, generous not hitbox. That little scrap actually is the distraction. Oh, they're gonna fight again. Actually, Frog goes for that. OG pushes the flash. Use the ignite. OG pushes flapping towards. Can't get a range for the auto attack. They're knocking on Taich, who's very tanky. Atomic Waldo's taking low as well. Gets hit with the zap again. The Dredge Ride hits, and Taich gets the Portal Combat kill. But Ryan May's not here. Hits the pillar and just hits the subjugate for the kill. He picks up a 1-for-1 on that, but Lessworth is here. He shows up with the Spectral Maul and gets the kill. So it is a 2-for-1 on the bottom lane as the feat of warfare is claimed for High Alert at 7 minutes.
Excellent presence from both junglers there to really identify what was going on and kind of beeline their, especially from Lessworth, just ignoring camps that he could potentially be doing in the order, quote unquote, the order in which he should be doing them, and just recognizing hey, I can get to bot here, I can contest with Trundle. If Trundle takes the quote unquote, if Trundle makes the right play, I can make the right play, and I can be in a place where I can make the play. Especially trusting Taich to go ahead and land that hook there. It's a really intelligent play from both teams, ultimately paying off a little bit more for High Alert, but that is the kind of play we expect when it comes to Lessworth in his squad.
Exactly. I think Les Force did a great job. He booked it straight from top lane, got the reset, and sprinted to the bot lane. It was great for Ryan Basegod to get there. He actually did pick up the first dragon of the game, so that's that dragon stacking you were talking about before, Kazi. That might be a factor in the late game, right? We've seen some of these games in Prime Metal League go so long, but now we're seeing actually a lane swap. Waldo and OG Mush are going to take top over. I think this is trying to get more dragon training stacks on the Smolder, while Thorn can kind of just sit there and farm for these games. So a good use of a macro there, but it's going to mean that there's more body for Hyler to take these Void Grubs, and I think they're going to secure it.
I think the real question here is if we're going to use by
pretty tanky. Redwater uses both parts of health. King Killa, Grateful will does a bomb, but we see all of them. OG Mush gets damaged, but there's 4 people here. Ryan Basegod come in, Lessworth with the stun, and he's taken so low. Ryan Basegod about a half health here. Lessworth still has the ability. Blasting gets played for King. He's scrapping the bottom lane. Madman trying to get the combo onto the Jinx. Frogguy taking so low. He hits the zap, but I'm not sure if he can escape the Madman just bonking him with the hammer. One more auto attack to do it. Boom, a solo kill from the top laner. Ryan Basegod is running away. John is sprinting away too, but Lessworth can't catch up. He tries to charge up the Spectral Mod. Hits, but the hook does not. So John and Ryan Basegod limp out of there after the support dies, but we see a 1v1 from the Madman turning it around for himself, making it a 1-for-1 across the map.
And not to harp on this, not to harp on our AD carry too much, but when you're playing AD carry in this situation, you have to do a lot more wave management than you're used to when you're playing against these melee top laners. I understand their tanks, but they do a lot of damage too early with their base damages, and so like when you get in melee range like that, you got to recognize like you either got to get out quick or you just got to concede, because like that was really unfortunate for Frogguy, turning what was ultimately a really nice proactive play by High Alert into what ultimately ends up being an even one, trading plates and lives.
Yeah, I think it was pretty big for Frogguy, not having his flash and his ghost up from that last exchange, right? The Madman saw that as an opportunity, so great look from the Madman, making something happen as his team was getting collapsed on in the top lane. We see John and Ryan Basegod barely limp it out of there, and a lot of cooldowns were used from the side of High Alert, so not too bad of a trade, but we see a lot of the plates being taken as it's a 1.5 thousand gold lead for High Alert already. We see John going for the double scaling items of the tier and the Rod of Ages, so it's going to take a while for him before he gets any damage, as no champions have picked up their first item just yet.
And this is something we were actually discussing in the casting chat, in our private chat a little bit earlier this week about some other teams, but something I was kind of interested in seeing was like a little bit more movement in these lanes, depending on how matchups were going and things like that. I do appreciate Forge Whale Riders breaking out this lane swap, just trying to get a little bit more farm onto their Smolder, understanding that they have a win condition and that doing everything they can to get resources into that win condition is going to be ultimately their best path to victory here. We've got a Nautilus gank going on mid lane.
Oh, Shockwave hits, actually. John hits it. Ryan Basegod goes in. A flash pulverized from the Alistar. Here's the kill as John gets that one. Tyche and Lessforce are scrapping now, but Ryan Basegod is doing a ton of damage. There's a flash out from Tyche to keep him safe, and Ryan Basegod just keeps bonking and chomping. So we see Lessforce and Tyche actually have to retreat from that 3v2. A great look from John and Ryan Basegod using the CC before the Jinx had her flash up to secure a kill for them. A great comeback for them as Oso's looking mid. I'm not sure if he can get anything here, so just a great play from Hyler to capitalize on that Jinx still missing flash. Oh, we see, Super Mega Death Rocket cancels the Alistar recall, but not much after that.
Yeah, and like, again, I feel bad for Frogguy because I keep talking about him, but like, you just can't really be there without your flash and AD carry. Oh my god, huge dive from the Akali.
Everything, yeah, still has the R2, perfect execution, gets the kill under turret. OG Mush's mom does not show up in time to save him from the assassin, so Breadwater with the solo kill there as Lessforce secures the dragon.
Yo, Ogmush, I'm gonna need you to play safe there, dog. You need to be further under your turret.
Vocabulary as Oso has to force out the flash from the Madman. A great Natofo strikes makes the Ornn waste the flash.
Just be further under your turret. Instead of being, in the middle of your turret range, be behind it so the Akali can't 100% you under your own turret at 12 minutes into the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a shout out to Breadwater as well. I think he hit literally every ability on
Everything.
to
Oh, it
OG
was
Mush.
nasty.
Yeah, and he missed the he flashed a little bit late and greeted it, so he dies for his sins. Ryan Base God getting caught out now by Titan Lessforce.
Oh,
He doesn't
wow.
have the ultimate, so he's taking
Lot
so
of
low. The
damage.
Zap secures the kill. So much damage dropped on this Trundle as Frogga gets a freebie in the mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And like both teams are very AD carry centric in this game, right? Akali's going to get where she can. Oh, huge play from the Akali though, landing
We see
everything.
just great training from Breadwater, really knowing the limits of this champion. Our favorite caster, also who's not joining us today, Mr. Okromancer, they have to play the beatdown, and they've been playing it well as they're almost at a 2K gold lead at 13 minutes.
Wait, what? Okromancers in this game?
No. I'm saying that's his favorite phrase, is that you have to beat the beatdown.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, actually, so the game I play competitively is where that phrase comes from.
Magic the Gathering, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you know the beatdown. I'm not
I was
sure
like, wait a second, what game am I watching, dude? Like...
Okay, yeah. So Magic the Gathering knowledge being shared with us as Frogey's farming these plates in mid lane as the Void Grubs are paying off. The Oso hits the all-out Madman, dragging him back, flashes in, gets into Tofo, hits the Pathmaker, doing so much damage, gets the last knockup, and one more to Tofo strike, cuts him in half. A solo kill for Oso, knowing that the Horn has no flash, he gets a beautiful solo kill. Just a great play to get him further ahead in this game.
I've got some excellent analysis for you. This character, Kazante, has been in the game for 3 years, and I still don't know what he does.
Flash engage from Lessforce. Super Mega Death Rocket misses. A flash by Jonathan. Breadwater's there to follow. Shockwave is not fast enough to keep Breadwater under the turret as a nice, perfect execution gets the Akali escaping. A beautiful dive play from Lessforce, Breadwater, and Taich in the bottom lane, knowing where they have their number advantage.
And even getting bonus resources out of support, burning that spellbook TP. Excellent play from Hyler across the map. Yeah. Wow. Looking, honestly, kind of a dominant performance so far. If they can translate this into, like, the next wave of objectives, I think we could potentially see Hyler run away with this game. This Akali is huge. Kazante is... The fact that Kazante is still doing enough damage to Ornn to be able to solo him after one item for each character also means that he can probably kill any character on the map, potentially split push. There's a lot of avenues Hyler can take from here, and I'm really excited to see what they do next. Although, I will say, I think what should come immediately is them trying to prioritize the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think Forge Whale Riders need to find a way to stabilize in this game as Oso's taking the tier 1 top turret for first turret of the game.
He 2v1s this.
Scott is here to gank. He hits the subject gate. The Pathmaker hits, but Oso has no ultimate. I don't know if John and Ryan Base got enough.
Oh, no.
Sure are trying. Oso has the Q3. A Shockwave hits as one more bonk on the head gets the kill for Ryan Base God as a TP comes out. Taich is here to flank. TP from Breadwater, but they're pretty far away. Taich misses the hook, actually, so great body block from Atomic Waldo as John and Ryan Base God are going to pick that up and walk away. A nice kill back for them, but on the other side of the map, I think the Jinx is still farming, but the Madman's actually trying to get a turret for himself in the bot lane, as now High Alert's going to get this uncontested Rift Herald.
Yeah, I think, I know it sounds weird, I think if he has ulti up, Kazante might actually just straight 1v2 that.
I don't think that's weird at all. I think that's true. Oh, as OG getting run down. Atomic Waldo is not in the right place. Frog Guy's hitting the rockets. The zap and the Dredgeline misses. Nice movement from both of them. Wow, a beautiful kind of juke out from Atomic Waldo with the trample's movement speed. So great play from him. And OG Mush just kind of sitting here trying to farm up. He's only at 116 Dragon Training stacks. He needs to hit 225 as soon as possible for them to have a shot in this late game.
Yeah, and something I actually want to address in chat while we have like just a small bit of peace here. They're asking why we're leaving our best player alone in Ogmush. That's who they're referring to. Whether or not Ogmush is their best player, I do actually think that the kind of the right decision from Forge Whale Riders to kind of want Ogmush to be as alone as possible. Obviously, you don't want him completely isolated against somebody who can kill him, which has happened once this game, and that was probably not great. But, like, you want the Smolder to have peace, but it looks like we have a little bit of an all in here.
Atomic Waldo pops the Unbreakable Will to survive that. There's 4 people in the mid lane, 5 actually, as Oso's getting the flank. The Rift Herald's charging in, and they're going to break down tier 1 mid turret. Oso's looking for something, but it's 5 people mid against OG Mush and Atomic Waldo. John and Ryan Base God are on the flank. Oh, the Shockwave gets flashed away from him. In. Oh, the hook actually in on the Orianna. John is taking so much damage. Call of the Forge got hits. The mom hits as well. Types has the blast away. There's so much AoE damage in CC. The Pathmaker to make space is great. Redwater's trying to do his best with a 5-point strike as Ryan Base God subjugates but runs away. So no deaths there from either side, but multiple flashes burn, multiple ultis burn. But it still means High Alert get the first fast track to the Dragon, and they're going to take it.
And it's enough prio here to where they should be able to burn this thing down. Excellent use of that Jinx pressure in order to try and get just a little bit of a fight going in order to make sure that they can secure this dragon by forcing Forge Whale Riders to not only tailor their ways but also back. If they had chosen to contest that dragon, they would have given up probably a solid 1,000 gold in terms of like turret plates and waves, because High Alert would have had enough prio to be able to separate away. It looks like Less Force is looking for a little bit of a dive, but mostly just harass to protect this turret take from Frog Guy and Oso, ultimately taking down maybe 1,000 standing goal or 2,000 standing goal between the two turrets and a dragon is going to be just more bread to line the pockets of High Alert.
Yeah, the bread is in Breadwater's pockets. One of the things I want to mention is actually John is taking the top lane turret, so that's a bit of gold injection back for him. The thing I want to mention is actually in that fight, even though Forge Whale Riders were down around 2.5k, we saw the Akali with that huge gold lead unable to do much in the team fight other than hit the front line with those 5-point strike the kunais, right? So we're seeing some of like this struggle to get the team fights if Forge Whale Riders are able to stack up and hit those huge AoE ultimates and the CC and the damage. So boding well for them if they're able to kind of face the 5v5s like High Alert wanted to take that one. If they're able to scale up, maybe get the Smolder a little bit further ahead with 2 items, the Orianna maybe hitting 2 items will be the break point for them where they can actually take the 5v5 straight on head fights and win that, because it was pretty close even though they're at quite a considerable gold disadvantage.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's something you can do for maybe, I'm not going to put an exact timer for it, but basically until the Smolder scales, you can afford to have your Akali a little bit out of position. You can afford to have your Viego a little bit out of position and still be able to get a reasonable amount of damage on waves and turrets and still find profit there. But there is going to be a point in this game where if you group up like that and the Smolder has items that is dealing damage, he is just going to out-damage you because you are essentially playing what is a 4v5 with 2 of your characters out of position, just not being able to fully utilize their kits.
Yeah, big thing about Smolder, as someone who's played him quite a few times, is that the Snot Bubble, the Achu, the big kind of a slow-moving ball, it does more damage because once it bounces off, or sorry, not bounces, but once it hits one target, it'll create an additional explosion. So if you're stacked up on top of each other and the Snot Bubble hits, 3 or 4 members, it's multiplying its damage. It's triggering multiple times, as we see Atomic Waldo and Round Base God cornered Taich, but Taich has backup, uses the Dredge line out on the Otacon, so good escape from him and good offensive pressure from Atomic Waldo and Ryan Base God defending their jungle. One of the things I actually forgot to mention was that Ryan Base God, while the mid lane turret and bot lane turret were getting siege, he's still keeping up in farm by taking the jungle camps of High Alert. So he's doing a great job staying even with his camps.
And Akali in potentially a dangerous situation here, but Forge Whale Riders realizing they don't really have the vision to make a play on this Akali right now because of how many people could potentially be nearby, even though it is only the enemy jungler. Right now, game state wise, looks like we got like a 3k gold lead for High Alert, which has ultimately been like that for maybe the better part of the last 15 minutes, which relatively speaking means their gold lead has actually shrunk. But we do have a lot of gold on the Jinx. She's been able to farm really, really well, and that extra kill has meant a lot to get her lead over the Smolder. In addition, we have kind of a lot of gold on Tyke as well. Tanky characters not being something Smolder is going to deal particularly well with until his 3rd or 4th item movement. That being said, the gold has swung back in the favor of Ornn in that top side, and we're probably at a point where Cassante and Ornn are now going to be fully staring at each other whenever they are in the same place because they cannot kill each other.
Yeah, exactly. One of the big things also is that John's Rod of Age is about to tick over to 10 stacks, giving him that extra level, and the Seraph's Embrace actually evolving. So he has 2 fully completed, not just legendary items, but evolved legendary items. It's going to be big in the next team fight. Even though he's down 2 kills, he's done a pretty great job keeping up in farm. He's only down about 800, less than 1,000 gold here. So it's going to be up to Forge Whale Riders to make sure they can, keep in this game. As we see, Taij sees Atomic Waldo. Atomic Waldo uses the barrier early for that damage reduction. And yeah, I think what they want to do for High Alert is finish stacking up these dragons, but that early first drag from Whale Riders denying the early soul is just going to be a huge point of scaling, because that means High Alert's going to have to wait until at least around 32 minutes if they're going to get Dragon Soul, which I think by that point, the Smolder and the Orianna will have the items needed to kind of fight. So he's Atomic Waldo bumped Taich back in. He uses the trample.
Got a flank from the Trundle.
Tanky. And yeah, we see a TP actually going in from Breadwater. Oso goes in. Ryan Base God is in ahead of everyone. A nice mom to disengage as Less Force taking some damage.
Oh my god.
Jumps in as we see the depth charge go in. Breadwater's exhausted as we see everyone stacked up on 1 point. The CC's on top of the Akali as Less Force and Breadwater jump deeper, but a trade kill gets back on OG Mush. They're so tanky. Madman is not dying to anything. Call for Forge goes out, but it gets canceled. Oso all's out on the Madman as we see a hook back from Taich. John flashes out. Taich is taken so low as the Super Scorcher Breath kills him. We see the Snot Bubble doing so much damage as Frog Guy and Oso are so low. Breadwater's also low. Chomp kills Frog Guy. As we see a double knockup from the Ornest. It's a sweep as it's a 5-for-1 in favor of Forge Whale Riders. We said they needed the 5v5 team fight, and High Alert just gave it to them.
An amazing fight there from the Orianna, just finding any way to stay alive there. And also, Ogmush really putting in a ton of work for a 1.5 item, 1.5 item Smolder there. Like, just getting in as much damage as he possibly could. Huge fight.
2 items yet, and he didn't have the full 225 stacks, so it's going to be even harder now for High Alert. Now that Forge Whale Rider is going to pick up this Otacon, yeah, I think there's not going to be a chance unless the Super Mega Death Rocket steals it. See Less Force trying to approach, but no, it's taken down as John kills the Otacon, but John is the one who's unkillable this game. So a great fight from, Forge Whale Riders. Like you said, OG Mush pumped up so much damage. I was talking about the Snot Bubbles. I was talking about like the overlap, so much AoE damage just getting dropped by John and OG Mush. So just a great fight from them and knowing when to take that fight on their advantage.
And really, I think the critical difference in that fight was really how many resources they put into diving. The way I see it, there were two waves of resources that they put in a diving backline. I think the first wave was totally fine and justifiable. It didn't kill anybody, but you could still peel out of that fight. But then once they put in the depth charge and they put in that second Akali ult into the backline, they were all in and they didn't get that kill on the Orianna, and that meant that they were grossly out of position for the rest of the fight. In addition to, I understand Smolder was only 1.5 items, but the Jinx was also only 1.5 items on Yuntal, which is not a good position to be in for team fights, but it looks like he got a little bit of a pick going down top lane.
Redwater. Shockwave hits as he tries to use the shout to escape. A nice perfect execution R2 to get out. So he escapes that one with his life, only using his ultimate as we see a reverse. Ooh, Taich unfortunately bops the minion with the hook, and the Madman's just stunting on him. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but now we see actually a Baron Rush from Forge Whale Riders.
Oh my.
Cheeky call from them, only having 2 members there. OG Mush and Atomic Waldo on Frog Guy.
Frog Guy is very caught, but he misses the W2 combo.
And the hook misses on OG Mush. Unbreakable comes out from Atomic Waldo, and they're taking another 5v5 fight. Oso has the flank, though. Gets the Pathmaker on OG Mush. OG Mush is taking solo. He has to flash out. Oso has the Q3 stack,
taking so much damage.
The Madman at the middle of 3 members. He gets the kill on Taich, but we now see all-out Oso on top of everyone, but he's not tanky anymore. He gets taken solo, and John gets the kill on him. The Madman is just the better tank as Ryan Base God hits the Pillar of Ice. He gets Less Force in there. Less Force is taken low, and just Frog Guy gets evaporated by the Chomp as we see a fight near this turret, and Breadwater is so low after his jungler dies, and another Chomp from Ryan Base God gets the 5-for-0 ace for Forge Whale Riders. Again, they wanted the 5v5, and again, High Alert just played into their hands.
Just pouring way too many resources into people that they can't kill yet again. Once you see that ultimate come out from Atomic Waldo, you probably just have to give them reposition, and they're just going to die for it yet again. I mean, excellent fight coming out from Forge Whale Riders, finding all the DPS that they possibly could. But I'm a little bit disappointed in seeing High Alert not necessarily put their resources where I think they should be going. And they're getting pretty punished for it. Frog Guy's just not in a position where he's dealing a ton of damage yet. They need to probably wait another full item. But now we're at the point where Smolder's so far ahead and so big with these 3 items that it's going to be really, really tough for them to find a way back into the game. That being said, I think there's plenty of avenues for them to be able to figure something out, but they really need to start thinking a little bit harder about what they're doing when they find these engages onto the enemy team.
Yeah, exactly. OG Mush is just evaporating waves now. He's at 3 items, and one of them is actually the Infinity Edge. Most smolders buy the Spear of Shojin for that increased ability haste, but he just went, screw it, I'm going for the expensive one. And one of the shoutouts I want to do personally is for the Madman. Oh, we see Ryan Base got hits the Pillar of Ice.
Oh my god.
Of course, got hits Frog Guy. He has no flash, so he's going to die here. John in the back seat. He gets the basketball, just dunks on him. As we see another kill for this Trundle. Yeah, this Trundle has 3.5 items. We see the TP coming in from Redwater. They're just running down the mid lane as we see Less Force has to recall. Taich has a flank, but now it's Baron buff and they're running it.
Just completely AFK. I'm so confused. Just nobody.
I'm confused too, yeah.
This entire team is just running it down mid lane, diving or carry under tier 2, and you can't. You're just like in the jungle farming, split pushing.
Look at OG Mush's damage. The Super Scorcher Breath does so much damage. They're just getting the kills under turret. They're farming them with the damage as Oso's doing his last stand here. Another Snot Bubble just kills everyone. Ryan Base God is the Troll King as he walks all over the base of High Alert. It was close until it wasn't, Kazi, as we see them
absolutely
farmed at the
doing everything to get Breadwater off 420. Breadwater maintaining 420 till the end. What a real one.
Oh my god, disgusting.
Oh no, he got an assist.
At the fountain as High Alert pick up a loss actually to the lower rated Forge Whale Riders, making both teams going 2 and 3 into the final week before playoffs. A great look from the 5v5s and just shout outs to them for knowing their PowerPoint.